Not for him.
He asked for water.
We'll serve him when we get to this section.
Mom, I'm thirsty.
Not for him. The flight attendant pulled the water bottle back just as 7-year-old Caleb reached for it. The child's lips were dry, his eyes tired, and the whole row went silent. His mother, Tasha, looked up slowly. "He asked for water," she said. The attendant's smile was thin. "We'll serve him when we get to this section." Caleb whispered, "Mom, I'm thirsty." A passenger across the aisle frowned. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Tasha held her son's hand and stayed calm. Like and subscribe to EchoStory if you believe every child deserves respect. The flight had already been delayed for 2 hours before takeoff. Families were restless, babies cried, and the cabin air felt warm and heavy. Caleb had finished his small juice before boarding, and now his throat burned from waiting. Tasha had pressed the call button once, then twice, asking politely each time. Both requests were ignored. When the cart finally reached first class, Caleb looked hopeful. But the attendant, Denise Harper, glanced at him like he was an inconvenience, not a child. That look stayed in Tasha's mind longer than the words. Tasha did not raise her voice. She had learned long ago that calm was sometimes the only protection people allowed her. "Please," she said, "he just needs water." Denise leaned closer, low enough to sound private, loud enough for others to hear. "There are other passengers waiting too." Tasha looked around. Several adults already had drinks. A man in 2C held 2 bottles. A woman near the window looked uncomfortable and lowered her eyes. Caleb shifted in his seat. "It's okay, Mommy," he whispered, trying to be brave. Denise moved the cart forward, but a teenage girl behind Tasha spoke up. "He's a little kid." Denise stopped, turned slowly, and gave her a warning stare. The girl looked down. The cabin swallowed its courage again. Tasha felt the humiliation rising around her, but she kept her face soft for Caleb. "Baby, breathe through your nose," she whispered. Caleb nodded, but his eyes were wet. Across the aisle, an older woman searched her bag for a bottle, but Denise snapped, "Ma'am, outside drinks must remain secured during taxi." The woman froze. The plane had not moved from the gate. Everyone knew it. That made the lie sharper. Tasha looked toward the front galley. "May I speak with the lead?" Denise's expression hardened. "I am the lead." A few passengers shifted in their seats. The power in Denise's voice was small, but it was still power. She could embarrass. She could delay. She could threaten. Tasha looked at her son, then back at Denise. "Then I'm asking you as the lead to help a thirsty child." Denise crossed her arms. "And I'm asking you not to make a scene." The word scene hung in the air like an accusation. Caleb's face changed. Children understand more than adults think. He pulled his hands into his lap and whispered, "I'm sorry." Tasha's heart cracked, but she kept her voice steady. "You have nothing to be sorry for." Denise rolled her eyes and walked away. Whispers spread behind them. That was unnecessary. Why not just give him water? "This is crazy!" But whispers were not water. Whispers did not protect a child. Tasha reached into her purse, hoping to find anything, but there was nothing left. A man in a business suit lifted his phone, recording from his chest. Denise noticed and walked back fast. "Sir, no filming crew members." The man lowered it slightly, but not enough. "I'm filming what's happening." Denise looked toward the front, irritated now. Tasha felt the cabin turning, but she did not want attention. She wanted water. Caleb leaned against her side, quiet and embarrassed. Then Denise returned with the captain's assistant, a young crew member named Erin, whose face showed concern the moment she saw the child. Erin bent gently. "Is he okay?" Tasha answered. "He's thirsty and overheated." Erin immediately reached for a sealed water bottle from the galley. Denise stopped her with one sharp look. "We are not rewarding disruptive behavior." The words hit the cabin like ice. Caleb stared down at his shoes. Tasha's eyes lifted slowly to Denise. "A child asking for water is not disruption." Denise leaned in. "Your attitude is becoming one." The businessman's phone was still recording. And this time, more phones started rising from the rows behind them. The gate supervisor entered the aircraft, called by Denise. He walked in prepared to believe the uniform before the mother. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked. Denise spoke first. Passenger is refusing instructions and creating tension. Tasha inhaled slowly. My son asked for water. The supervisor looked at Caleb, then at Denise. For 1 second, doubt crossed his face. Then Denise added, she's been challenging crew authority. The phrase changed everything. Authority had entered the room and truth was suddenly fighting for space. Tasha opened her phone, not angry, not shaking, just focused. She scrolled to one contact and paused. Caleb looked up. Are you calling Dad? Tasha brushed his cheek. Not yet. She wanted the airline to fix this because it was right, not because someone powerful demanded it. She looked at the supervisor. Please bring my child water. The supervisor hesitated. Denise whispered, if we give in now, we lose control. Tasha heard every word. Her eyes moved to Denise. You already lost control the moment you made kindness conditional. The supervisor said, Ma'am, if this continues, we may have to remove you. The cabin gasped softly. Caleb's eyes widened with fear. Mommy? Tasha squeezed his hand. We're not going anywhere. Her calmness made Denise more impatient. This aircraft cannot depart with disorder. Tasha looked around at passengers holding phones, at Erin standing with water she wasn't allowed to give, at her son shrinking beside her. Then she pressed the number. The call rang once, twice. A deep male voice answered. Tasha, is Caleb okay? Tasha put the call on speaker. Michael, they're refusing Caleb water and threatening to remove us. The cabin went completely silent. Denise folded her arms, unimpressed. The voice on the phone changed. Who is speaking for the airline? The supervisor stepped forward. Sir, this is a cabin management issue. Michael replied, calm but cold. No. It became a corporate issue when your crew denied basic care to a child. Denise's face tightened. The captain appeared from the cockpit doorway. He had heard the tone, and something about that voice felt familiar. Michael Carter was not just Caleb's father. He was the CEO of Horizon Air Group's largest hospitality partner, the company managing premium lounge contracts, executive travel programs, and crew service training across multiple airports. But Tasha did not introduce him that way. She never wanted her son to learn that dignity required a powerful last name. The captain stepped closer. Sir, may I have your name? Michael answered, Michael Carter. The supervisor's eyes dropped to his tablet. His face changed before he even finished typing. No one was ready for what came next. The supervisor swallowed. Mr. Carter, CEO of Carter Hospitality Systems? Denise blinked. The captain looked at Denise, then at Caleb, then at the untouched water bottle in Erin's hand. Michael's voice remained steady. My son should not need my title to receive water. That sentence landed harder than anger. Passengers stopped recording for a moment just to listen. Erin's eyes filled with tears. Denise looked smaller now, but still tried to speak. Sir, there are procedures. Michael replied. Then your procedures forgot humanity. Within minutes, phones started buzzing. The gate supervisor's phone rang. Then the captain's, then Denise's work device. Carter Hospitality had paused all active airline service renewals pending review. The aircraft stayed at the gate. A delay caused not by the mother, not by the child, but by the refusal to show simple care. Erin quietly stepped forward and placed the water bottle in Caleb's hands. He held it with both hands like it was something fragile. Thank you, he whispered. The entire cabin heard him, and the silence afterward felt heavy with shame. The captain faced the cabin. Ladies and gentlemen, we are addressing a service failure before departure. Denise stood near the galley, pale and stiff. The supervisor stared at the floor. Tasha opened the bottle for Caleb and watched him drink slowly. She did not smile. She did not celebrate. A child drinking water should not feel like victory. The businessman lowered his phone and said quietly, I'm sorry nobody stood up sooner. Tasha looked at him. Some of you did. Too late, but you did. The words were gentle, and that made them hurt more. Denise was instructed to apologize. She walked down the aisle slowly, every step watched by passengers who had seen the whole thing. Ma'am, she began. Tasha raised one hand. Not to me first. Denise looked confused. Tasha turned slightly toward Caleb. To him. The cabin froze. Denise's eyes moved to the boy, who still held the water bottle against his chest. For the first time, she seemed to see him. Not a seat number. Not a problem, a child. Her voice cracked. Caleb, I'm sorry I refused to help you. Caleb looked at his mother before answering. Tasha nodded softly, letting him choose. He whispered, okay. It was not forgiveness. It was a child trying to escape the center of adult shame. Michael stayed quiet on the phone. He understood this moment belonged to his son. Aaron returned with a cool towel and snacks, asking permission before placing them down. Caleb smiled faintly at her. That tiny smile broke something open in the cabin. A few passengers wiped their eyes. Because the smallest kindness can expose the deepest failure. The airline replaced Denise before departure. She walked off the plane without looking back, but the silence followed her. The captain approached Tasha and Caleb personally. You are welcome on this flight, he said. Tasha looked at him, tired but steady. We always were, he lowered his head. That simple answer carried the whole story. The aircraft eventually pushed back from the gate, but the mood inside had changed. Passengers were quieter, more aware, more human. Caleb leaned against the window and whispered, Mom, did I do something wrong? Tasha answered, No, baby. They did. When the plane finally landed, passengers stepped aside as Tasha and Caleb walked toward the exit. Aaron handed Caleb a small wing pin and whispered, You were very brave. Caleb smiled, still holding his mother's hand. At the jet bridge, Michael waited, not with cameras, not with anger, but with open arms. Caleb ran to him. Tasha stood behind them, eyes full but proud. EchoStory remembers moments like this because power can stop contracts, but compassion should never need permission. Respect isn't something you show when someone is powerful. It's something you show when you think they're not.